What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here, and we are back in the world of Titan MC. And today is not going to be one of my normal videos. Today we're just going to be kind of chatting away, talking specifically about the new purchase with Microsoft and Mojang. So for those of you guys who've been living under a rock or don't know, Mojang just sold not just Minecraft, but the entire company to Microsoft for a cool $2.5 billion. For those of you guys who failed math, that is 2,500 million, or basically more money than Scrooge McDuck could spend in a lifetime. It is a ridiculous, asinine amount of money, which probably makes Notch, considering he was the majority shareholder, let's say he has 51% of the company. 51% of 2.5 billion is 1.25 billion. Let's assume he gets taxed at a 50% taxation rate. He's still going to be pulling a cool 600 million, which he could probably buy a small country with that amount of money. That's a lot of money. It's a ridiculous amount of cash. And you know, I don't blame the guy. I mean, if somebody offered me $2.5 billion for my YouTube channel, I would sell so fast that would make your head spin. That being said, I'm a little conflicted on what I think about it. So let's talk about what could happen, what probably will happen, and kind of like a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. So for those of you guys who have been following Minecraft for the past, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months, you'll know that there's been a lot of heat going around in the community. Specifically, we had the EULA come down, where basically Mojang said, servers, we don't want you to do what you've been doing for the last 3 years, and you have till August 1st to stop it. Some servers complied, some servers didn't, and Mojang, as usual, did absolutely nothing about it. No servers, as far as I can tell, were shut down other than voluntarily. No DMCAs or cease and desist orders have been sent, and at the end of the day, it looks like it was basically just, we don't want you doing this, so stop it, please, or we'll really glare at you. Unfortunately, this change did have some ramifications, some of them positive, some of them negative. One of the negative ramifications of this, and some people will argue that it wasn't because of this, but at the end of the day, it does look like it was the EULA that killed Bucket. Bucket is gone. For those of you guys who don't know, Bucket is what, 99 to maybe even 100% of the servers out there, other than the ones that are just purely like vanilla 100% run off your computer, or maybe a Realms server, don't use Bucket. Everything else pretty much uses Bucket. All of the server administration plugins use Bucket for the most part, with a few exceptions. All of the economy plugins pretty much use Bucket. Factions, Prison, pretty much all of that is Bucket. Essentials, Townie, pretty much every plugin, voter pro plugins and such like that. I mean, everything that the average person thinks of when they think of a Minecraft server is most likely run off a Bucket. And now that Bucket's gone, that also means that Spigot is going to have some problems updating. Now, they found a way around it technically, but it's not really a viable solution. And long term, it's going to be hard to maintain. And those kind of changes, they're pretty bad. I mean, one of the best things about Minecraft is the fact that it is such a wide appeal to such a wide amount of people. And the reason it is got such a wide variety of appeals is there's so much you can do with it. You know, you can play a prison server, which is a totally different gameplay element than a townie server, which is a totally different gameplay element than a Tekkit server. And all of these different things are made possible by the community, and they're made possible by mods. And when you get rid of that community and you get rid of those mods, you start basically ending up with just pure, boring vanilla. Now, don't get me wrong. Vanilla, great game. You know, I mean, if you're into building, if you're into some of the more mild, and I know even just using the word mild is technically an insult, but, you know, if you like a little bit more laid-back system, you don't want to deal with machines, you don't want to deal with, you know, this or that, vanilla may be your thing. But the vast majority of people who play Minecraft, at least in my opinion. Let me rephrase. The vast majority of the people who play multiplayer Minecraft play so in some form or another of modified Minecraft, whether it is like this server right here on Titan MC, where you're playing a prison server, which is modified Minecraft. Technically, it's more vanilla than most of the other modified Minecraft, but it is still modified Minecraft. Whether you're playing Tekkit or FTB or any of the other host of other modified Minecrafts, you're playing something that's not vanilla. You're playing something that somebody else somewhere spend some time coding, and all of that comes into jeopardy when we start losing the secondary systems. You know, when we lose Bucket, we lose Spigot, we lose Forge, those type of things, all that goes away. All that goes away. And if nobody steps up to fix it, what you love in Minecraft either stagnates, that means we don't get upgraded any more than where we are right now, or it just stops. And that's kind of scary, because Minecraft's one of those things that, you know, I pretty much expected. I mean, I've built my bills are paid by Minecraft for the most part. So, you know, with the fact that it could be gone is kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Now, I'm not saying that Minecraft's going to go anywhere. Please don't interpret that. I'm pretty sure Microsoft's not going to be screwing it up, at least intentionally, and at least not in the near future. I expect everything to basically stay the way it is, probably for the next couple months. And then we'll probably start seeing some changes. So what are some of the changes, good and bad, that we're going to see? Well, first off, one of the things that has driven me and many other people crazy about Mojang is their just sheer lack of any form of PR department. Now, Notch, you can like Notch, you can not like Notch. That kind of depends on where it's up to you and what you feel. At the end of the day, Notch has had very little to do with Minecraft in the past year or so since he resigned. Jeb and the others have been handling the coding, and he's more or less just been that dude in the background who occasionally makes a stand on one thing or another. I'm sure when it comes to board decisions and things like that, he had some pretty good sway. But day-to-day, in-and-out stuff, it wasn't Notch. Notch hasn't been part of it for a while. He's been stepped away. And Notch will be gone once the Microsoft thing fully transitions. God only knows how long that will take. And then he won't be a part of Minecraft anymore. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, we're going to lose Notch. But like I said, you know, honestly, he hasn't been a part of the process for a while now. You're probably not going to notice any change. You know, it's going to be business as usual. And, you know, as far as losing Notch, other than just, you know, having his random weird tweets every once in a while, you're probably not going to notice any difference at all. Let's talk about the whole EULA thing. Now, that's where things get kind of tricky. Now, as Mojang pretty much came out publicly and said, we don't care about money. We're not in it for money, which is kind of interesting considering they just sold for $2.5 billion. But let's just throw that out and let's take them at their word. They were not in it for the money. They were in it for, you know, the principle or the joy of development, or fuck, I don't know. A lot of their decisions that they made, specifically with the EULA, were counterintuitive to the profit-making venture type setup. So for those of you guys who don't know, if you're running a business, you want to make money. That's the entire purpose of business, is to make money. Now, obviously, you want to do so in a way that's not going to piss off your user base, and you want to do your best to make your people happy. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to stuffing your face full of food and paying your bills, etc., or making a few people happy, you're probably going to lean more towards paying your bills, unless making those people happy in the long run is more cost-benefit analysis than the other way around. So Mojang never took that stance. Mojang was, and the EULA is pretty much a big screaming pile of that as an example. I mean, in all honesty, leaving the EULA the way it was before and then maybe doing a royalty agreement with servers would have been far more profitable than what they're doing now. And some of you are going to be like, no, dude, they're trying to force people onto Realms. That's what they're trying to do. No, they're not. Realms is garbage. Realms can't compete. Realms has absolutely no way to even compete with the current system. And when I say that, what do I mean? Well, right now servers, like I said, are modded. So the majority of people playing Minecraft are playing so modified. They're using Bucket, they're using Spigot, they're using Forge, they're playing Tekkit, FTB, or some form of Bucket derivative that allows them to modify their server. So Realms has a player cap of 10 people online at any time. This server right now that I'm on has how many? 72 people. That's on one of their prison servers. I think the current ranking of this whole server is probably around 500 or 600 people. For 500 or 600 people to play on a Realm server, you'd have to have over 50 servers. There'd be no interaction, and not only that, but you can't run mods on them at all. Period. It just doesn't work. So you're not going to be able to have a prison server on Realms. You're not going to be able to have a faction server on Realms. You're not going to be able to have a mini game server on Realms. You're not going to be able to have anything other than the purest, most simplest form of vanilla, and for only you and your 10 people. So no, it was nothing to do about Realms. I think the EULA change, honestly, was simply just a principle thing. It's one of those things that that for whatever reason, Notch personally felt very strongly about. And they took a stand on strictly for personal reasons. It had nothing to do with business because, in all honesty, if they had gone about it differently and they had done a royalty agreement with Mindplex and Hypixel and all of those, they would have made a mint. I mean, you get 10% sales off of whatever they sell every month, and you don't have to do a damn thing other than just sit there and collect your money. Yeah, sign me up for that. Right now, all in, easy call. I'm not even going to think twice. So, it'll be interesting to see how Microsoft takes things. Because Microsoft, if one thing Microsoft is big on, it's making money. Microsoft loves making money. They like making money so much that it is unreal. Now, at the same time, Microsoft just invested a shit ton of money. And when I say a shit ton of money, I mean like more money than everyone who watches this video plus my entire life income combined they just spent. $2.5 billion is a ridiculous amount of cash. That is I just go and look up. I think it's the Federal Reserve has, I think it's $1 million in 20s, and you can actually see pictures of it and see how big it is. Now imagine 2,500 of those. I mean, just storing that, carrying that around. I mean, it's an astronomical amount of money. With that, you could spend $1 million a day, and it would still take you, what, 5 years to spend it all? That's not counting interest. Most likely, if you had interest on there, you wouldn't be able to spend it fast enough if you spent $1 million a day. I'm sure the accountants in here, I'll be kind of perking up on that, and somebody will do the math on it and let me know. But what I'm saying is it's just an asinine amount of money. So these guys have spent this money. They're going to want to get it back. How are they going to do so? Well, I have never known Microsoft, and I may be wrong about this, but I've never known Microsoft to really embrace or endorse the open source community. It's not one of their big deals. They're the software equivalent of big pharma. They like making their money. They like their exclusives. They like control. So what is that going to mean for Minecraft? Well, it could be a few things. One, if they're smart and they don't exactly have a tendency or a track record of being smart, they will stick with the way things were pre-EULA. They will encourage modifications, maybe even make an official mod API. They could do something like the Steam Workshop where they just kind of open it up and embrace it big time. A smart move would be to hire the Bucket staff and the Forge staff, bring them both in, force them to combine into some form of Bucket Forge hybrid, and then release that as the official API. Everyone would be happy, and we would have it would be like the Minecraft Golden Age. Another thing they could do is they could upgrade the code. Minecraft it's built on Java, which isn't exactly the smartest thing at the size that it is now. When it was just a side project, it made perfect sense. Now, Java has some hard issues. They could update it to something like C, where multi-threading and things along those are a little bit easier to do. They could put just a ton of development into it and get it upgraded. Maybe do some graphical upgrades. There's a lot of stuff they could do. Unfortunately, there's also a lot of bad stuff they could do. They could choose to lock down the modification setup. They could choose to embrace the whole EULA and take it a little bit further and say, you know what? We don't want you guys doing mods at all. We don't like third-party modifications. We can't support them. We don't like it. We're going to instead release our own mods, and we're going to charge you $5 a pop for them. Now they'll work perfectly with our system, and they'll be tested, et cetera, et cetera. But you can't use them outside. They could try and take over the whole modification community that way. They could be real dicks about it, and they could go through and they could yank PS3's version and PS4's version and make it a Microsoft exclusive, where you have to have either an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One to play it. Plus, obviously, the Windows mode will stay. They could shut down servers and force you to buy servers from them. Not allowed modifications at all. There's a lot of craziness they can do. And it all depends. I mean, obviously, those are worst case scenarios, and Microsoft would be fucking stupid to do that. The problem with it is, a lot of time these big companies, especially when you start talking around money like this, they look at the big picture, and unfortunately, they don't always grasp some of the finer details, some of the finer, what's the word for it? They just don't have a good connection with their average player. So what does that mean? It just means they don't understand how Minecraft works. They don't understand the way modifications work. They don't understand that that is what's driven the community. Obviously, they realize that, YouTube and things like that are good, and they want people to interact, but they don't always understand that, Bucket and Forge and Tekkit and FTB and all these things, plus YouTube is what's driven this. And, they could make a few mistakes there. They could shut some of those things down, and it could have a real negative effect. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I'm really, really hoping that they don't mess with that type of stuff, that they leave everything kind of open and the way it is. I really hope that they choose to kind of embrace modifications. I think that'll be a first for them, getting into open source and kind of independent development and things along those lines. That being said, it's one of those things that they've kind of realized over the past couple years, especially with the Steam thing and early access and all that stuff, and with PlayStation embracing indie devs. It's something that they're starting to finally realize, hey, it's not all about big corporations and big money and big events. Sometimes, two dudes working out of the basement of mom's house can make a $2.5 billion game. So I'm hoping that there is somebody over at Microsoft that is at least semi-intelligent, that at least can get their mind wrapped around this whole thing. I'm hoping that we are going to run into a nice big burst of Minecraft stuff and further development, further opening of borders, better community management. I mean, God, it'll be so nice to have a PR company for once. I mean, Bucket burned down over a weekend, and it took Mojang 5 days to say anything about it. And when they did, it was like, it's going to be fine. And then nothing happened. At least with Microsoft, you won't have that. Microsoft sometimes does shove their foot down their own throats by talking, but at least they talk. And at least they talk fairly frequently. And we should at least get some decent updates. They have thrown a lot of money into it, so they're going to be highly incentivized to make sure that we are happy. So as long as we make our voices known, we show them, solid numbers, we show, some form of unity, then I think we're going to probably do just fine. We just have to make sure that we keep our community together and we actually speak as one voice or one focused idea and don't kind of, fragment away and make it all, come apart. So I think it's probably going to be 6 months or so before we really know. It takes a little while. Big corporations take a long time to really institute change. It's going to take them a while to figure out exactly what all goes into Minecraft. There's going to be that transitionary period where, and if you've never done coding before, you're not going to really realize this, but, when you buy a company that's been maintaining their own software and then you have to bring your people in to figure out how they do the software, that takes a while because you have to learn the code, you have to figure it out, especially if it's not well documented or if the person coding it was an idiot. It could take a while. So hopefully they will keep at least a majority of the Mojang staff to help them transition, help them train new people. Hopefully they'll take a good PR stance. Hopefully they will embrace the open community. And hopefully this will be a good thing for Minecraft. My personal prediction is I think there's going to be some good changes. I think there's going to be some bad changes. And depending on how Microsoft embraces the community, This is either going to be the best thing that ever happened to Minecraft, or Minecraft's going to be dead within a year. So it could go either way. You know, with Bucket shutting down, Spigot being hamstrung, a lot of the major developers for a lot of major plugins throwing in the towel, you know, we're kind of on the edge, we're on the knife's edge of, you know, Minecraft falling apart. So, you know, as somebody who loves Minecraft myself, who does Minecraft basically for a living, I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope they can turn it around. I hope new life is breathed into the program. But you know, I'm going to be sitting here watching, kind of with you know, my breath held, and just hoping it all works out for the best. So I'd love to know what some of you guys think. You know, what are y'all's thoughts? Do you guys think this is a good thing? Do you guys think it's a bad thing? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I have seen a couple videos from Microsoft, and they, you know, they're hyping it up. They're spinning their little hype wheels, but we're not really going to know how they're going to handle it until it all comes down. So anyways, guys, I just want to get my video out, kind of let you guys know what I think about it, kind of get my opinions out there. You know, time's going to tell. We're going to have to sit back and wait and see what happens, and hopefully it's for the best. So anyways, if you found this video entertaining or you liked it, make sure you slap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.